Leicester City are on the brink, and what I'm about to share changes everything. I've got 3 massive updates for you. First, things Rowett said since joining that Leicester fans should know, and some of it is brutally honest. Second, Leicester City's fairy tale has become a PSR nightmare, and going bust is a very real possibility. Yes, administration is now part of the conversation around the Foxes. And third, the most important story, the new Leicester manager criticized the Foxes owner and John Rudkin recently, and now he's in charge. Stay with me right to the end, because the final update could define the direction of this club. If you care about Leicester, the championship survival fight, PSR charges, and what happens next at the King Power, subscribe now, and let's break this down properly. You know what? I'm glad he said it. No fluff, no fairy tales, no pretending everything's rosy at the King Power. Gary Rowett has walked in, looked around, and called it exactly what it is. Very, very poor management in recent years. And honestly, you, as a true supporter of the Foxes, have known that for a while. Think about it. A club that lifted the Premier League not so long ago now staring down the barrel of League One. That's not just a decline, that's an identity. And after Martí Cifuentes left, and that 6-point deduction hit like a punch to the gut, the hierarchy finally turned to someone who understands the shirt, not just the badge, the weight of it. Rowett isn't here to charm you. He's selling survival. He's described as a footballing logician, and you can see it in the way he talks. Calm, direct, rational. He's looked at this squad and said, yes, there's talent, but chemistry, consistency, not good enough. And that's been the story of the season, hasn't it? Moments of quality, followed by collapse. What really struck me is this. He's not wedded to some grand system just to look clever. He's not here to impress pundits. He's assessing what he's actually got and building around the players' capabilities. That's proper championship thinking. Practical, ruthless, effective. 26 games without a clean sheet. 26. That's not bad luck. That's structural failure. So when he talks about organization, defensive accountability, mastering set pieces, you can almost hear the dressing room doors slamming shut. It's a cold shower. And frankly, it's overdue. He even said people told him the team were trying to play expansive football. Fine, lovely, but if it's not winning matches, what's the point? His job isn't to make himself look good. It's to win games for you. For the Foxes supporter who stuck through the chaos, while certain rivals down the road in red and white love to chirp up as if they've conquered Europe. Let's be clear. Rowett believes this squad is capable of winning every remaining game if they strike the right balance. That's bold. That's confident, but it comes with responsibility. He wants them to be unbeatable. He wants structure first, freedom second, earn the right to play. So here's the question, and I want you to be honest. Has this squad let down the badge with its lack of fight and chemistry? Or were previous managers asking them to play a style that simply didn't suit them? And if Rowett goes pragmatic and grinds out ugly 1-0 wins, will you back it completely? Or will you still demand beautiful football? Hit like. Hit that subscribe button if you're passionate about Leicester and want to stay up to date. When you think of Leicester City, you see Wes Morgan lifting that Premier League trophy with Claudio Ranieri grinning beside him. You can still hear the noise, can't you? The greatest sporting miracle this country has ever seen. Now fast forward 10 years, and it feels like that image has been dragged onto the M1 and flattened by a convoy of lorries. This isn't just decline. This is a PSR nightmare. The fairy tale club, the Foxes, are now being spoken about in the same breath as administration and existential threat. Not just relegation to League One, not just championship mediocrity, actual survival. It all starts with Vichai Srivadhanaprabha buying the club back in 2000. Ambition, structure. Then came the recruitment miracles, the unity, the impossible title. That should have secured our place at the top table for a generation. Not guaranteed trophies, but stability. Protection. Then came the helicopter crash, the shock that ripped the heart out of this football club. Ayawat stepped in, but the spending never really aligned with the new reality. A £100 million training ground, 14 pitches, a golf course, Champions League level infrastructure without Champions League level income. Then COVID hit. King Power's travel-based empire suffered. Revenue dipped, and Leicester kept spending like a club that would never go down. But we did. A wage bill of £206 million with almost no relegation, 102% of revenue spent on wages in the champion. That isn't risky, that's financial roulette. Yes, we came back up, but the damage was already baked in. PSR breaches totaling £20.8 million over the permitted £83 million loss threshold, a 6-point deduction. Appeals flying in every direction. The Premier League unhappy, Leicester unhappy, everyone unhappy. And now we sit in purgatory, waiting for verdicts while the team loses 5 of 6 and drifts towards the drop zone. The current wage bill sits around £43 million per year. That's 11 million more than Sheffield United and Southampton. Coventry, top of the league, operate at roughly 35% of that. Right now, parachute payments keep the lights on. But if the Foxes fall into League One and fail to bounce back immediately, the questions become brutal. Owners either plug the gap or they don't. And if they don't, football history shows you what happens next. Here's what frustrates me most. We're not talking about plucky overreach. We're talking about miscalculation, naivety, a club that should have learned from the past decade of Premier League cautionary tales. And don't think certain red-shirted neighbors aren't loving every second. They've waited years to chirp. But let me tell you something. They'd trade their entire trophy cabinet for our 2016 moment in a heartbeat. Now I'll ask you this, and I want you to think carefully. If survival means brutal cost-cutting, selling prized assets, and years of rebuilding in the lower leagues, would you accept that pain to save the Foxes long-term? Or should the ownership be risking everything right now to stay up, even if it gambles the club's hit that subscribe button if you're passionate about Leicester and want to stay up to date. You honestly couldn't script it. If someone pitched it to the BBC as a new political satire, they'd say it was too on the nose. Gary Rowett sat in a studio not long ago, calmly dissecting everything wrong at the King Power. And now he's the man walking through the doors as head coach of the Foxes. That's not just irony. That's English football at its most theatrical. Rowett didn't whisper his criticism either. He went straight at it. He questioned the inconsistency. He pointed at the lack of chemistry. He said, you can't go from lifting the Premier League to flirting with League One in a few seasons without very, very poor management. And let's be honest, when he said that, you probably nodded along. He laid into Ayawat Srivadanaprabha. He aimed straight at John Rudkin. Structural issues, recruitment decisions, vision. He wasn't sugarcoating anything. It was clinical, detached, almost forensic. And now, he's shaking hands with the very people. It does feel like an episode of The Thick of It. One week, he's the pundit dismantling the blue machine piece by piece. The next, he's been handed the toolbox and told to fix it. But here's the thing, and this is where I actually respect it. If you're going to criticize, you'd better be brave enough to step in and solve it. That's exactly what he's done. Some will call it cynical, some will say it's circular. But from where I'm standing, it's accountability. He said the squad should be doing better. He said the chemistry wasn't right. He said the management had been poor. Fine. Now prove you can be the solution. And let's not forget, this isn't some outsider parachuted in. He's worn the shirt. He understands what the Foxes badge represents. He knows what 2016 means to you. He knows the standards. Yes, the optics are dramatic. Yes, rival supporters, especially those down the Nottingham direction, are smirking, pretending we're some sort of sitcom. But they'd love this level of... They'd love a story this big. We're box office even in crisis. Rowett now has to turn studio analysis into actual points. Firefighting on Filbert Way, organizing a side that's drifted, restoring pride, and doing it under the microscope he helped aim. So here's the question I want you to choose. Does it take someone who's publicly called out the board's mistakes to truly fix them? Or have the Foxes just handed power to a man who's already admitted how broken the structure? And if he fails, does that prove the problems run far deeper than any manager? Hit that subscribe button if you're passionate about Leicester and want to stay up to date.